Waddell coming in. I'll tell you, Mr. Wallace, Mr. Simpson did a good job for you there.
Yes, they did.
They lined you up well. Coach Waddell lined you up well. Give us your background. How did you end up in the sport of basketball? Take us back to your basketball.
I ended up in the sport of basketball going back to when I was at Dudley High School as a student. Played basketball there, played football as well. And I got involved in the love of sports because I remember my junior year of high school trying to figure out what I wanted to do in college and pursue as a, yes. Mm-hmm. And I talked to my athletic director at the time, Joe Godet, which is still the athletic director there.
Wow.
Yeah, he was there. I asked him what major did he pursue to become an athletic director, because I know I wanted to, deal with sports in the school system, maybe one day become an athletic director or, and a coach.
Right.
And he told me that he took up physical education teaching. And right then, that's when I knew, what major I wanted to deal with in pursuing college.
That's when the green light went off?
That's when the green light went off.
So Joe Godet gave you some very good advice.
Yes.
I'll tell you what, I wonder how his son Trey Godet's doing these days.
Trey's doing well. We stay in contact from time to time.
Is he teaching school? I know he went on to study to become a teacher.
He's, I believe he's still finishing up his master's at Winston-Salem State.
He's working on that?
Yes. He contacted me probably about a month ago and checked on the guys. He's in grad school, and checked up on the guys because one summer he was needing some hours, and he helped us out during the summer, doing summer league with Smith High School. So he know a lot of these guys, and he calls to check up on them.
If you are in study in college, and if you can continue pursuing the course of action toward the master's while you're still young and still in school and get it done then, a lot easier doing it then than just waiting on it to go back and get it later on.
Oh, sure. A lot easier.
And so you had the basketball. Did your career run concurrent about the same time with Coach Partee, or did you come after Coach Partee?
I come after Coach Partee. He's a lot older than I am.
Okay. Wiser though, older but wiser.
Yes, Coach Partee graduated from Dudley in 1996.
I remember 96, yes sir.
And I came out in 2001.
2001.
So actually my sophomore year of high school was Coach Partee's first year of coaching at Dudley.
So you had him as a coach for a little while then?
For a little while.
Yeah. Interesting. So 2001 was your graduating year?
Yes.
Who were some of the guys on your Dudley basketball teams we know from back in the day?
Guys that played during that time was Dominic Brown.
Oh, yeah.
He was a senior with me. Rick Lewis was a senior with me.
Rick Lewis, yes sir.
Eric Hitz was a junior.
Remember him well, yeah.
Mike Hayes was a junior that year. Yes. And I remember that year.
How about Nick the Quick Bout?
Nick was a year ahead of me. Him and Damian Price.
Yeah, I remember
and
those
Chris
guys.
Ferguson. They were all.
Ferguson was a good ball player.
Yeah, they all was a grade ahead of me.
The one year we went down to Burlington Williams and got the sectional done there. Then went down to ECU down at Greenville. We got the regional done there. Got that done against Pender County the first night, and beat Williams like a drum that Saturday night. Then Dudley went on to the championship series at Chapel Hill. Got beaten Chapel Hill that year.
Yes,
I think somebody got hurt along the way too.
Yeah, Eric tore his ACL against Chapel Hill.
And Burlington Williams that Friday night.
Yeah, and the one thing I remember about that year was Dudley played Oak Hill Academy, and Jana Diop was there, and Carmela Anthony was a sophomore, Rashad Caruth and Justin Gray and them guys.
Interesting.
And Dudley carried them into overtime and should have won that game, but. Till this day, I believe that was the most exciting high school basketball game I've ever seen.
Battling Oak Hill.
Yeah.
I remember PJ against Oak Hill a few years back, and PJ's come up court in the second half and just about turned that ankle over that game. But PJ he always had so many different injuries, but he would get injured, and then about 10 minutes later, that guy would come back, play twice as good as he was playing before. It's kind of crazy.
Yes, one thing you say that about injuries with PJ. I remember one time, it might have been his freshman year, and he had an injury and might have seen blood, about fainted. Coach Partee had to carry him off the court to the locker room. You would have thought that he got shot or something, but he blood freaked him out.
Right.
And
I remember that night against Burlington Cummins, he got hurt. He took him in the locker room, came back out.
That might have been the night.
And you guys whipped him at your place, I think.
Yes.
And I remember the Word of God game. Remember a lot of games. Boy, it was interesting seasons. Coach Waddell, how did you and Coach Partee get connected then? Because you were a few years behind him at school. How did you guys get connected in this coaching camaraderie?
Just always known him, and once he was running for the job at, for Dudley, and Coach Price retired, and myself, Coach Partee, Coach Seagraves, Coach Ferguson, and Coach James were all on that staff. And I always told Coach Partee, no matter where you go, I'm going to go with you. Because I don't want you to be by yourself. It's always good to have someone that knows you.
Have some support, yeah.
To know what you want. So I told him, when he was applying for jobs, wherever you go, I'm right there with you. So I remember he called me one day in that July, riding in the car. He said, Coach, I got a job. I said, okay, where we going? And he said, taking my talents to the south side of Greensboro. I said, well, let's go on to Smith High School.
South Holden Road, right there on top of it.
Yeah.
What did that mean to your career to get that job and that chance at Smith?
To me, I felt like it was a stepping stone. Because at Dudley, I learned a lot under Coach Price. It's a fraternity of coaches there. It's like a brotherhood. I was the new kid on the block. I was the youngest one out of all the coaches. And I took everything that I learned from the other guys and added to what I was learning. I love watching basketball and learning for everybody. I think you're never too old to learn. And coming over with Coach Partee to Smith High School gave me an opportunity to kind of get out of the shadow of the other guys and
kind of branch
out and show what I've learned. And I thank him for the opportunity. And I thank Coach Price and them guys for giving me an opportunity to get started.
How do you get it across to the kids what they need to do in the classroom? Because that's probably 3/4 of the battle of basketball. Sometimes takes care of itself in a lot of ways, but you got to get it done in the classroom too.
Yes, we stay on the guys about academics and about their character, because the character carries them a long way in life, not just basketball but life. We tell the guys all the time, you never know who's watching you in the community. And I gave an example one time. I'm at the gas station, and an older gentleman approached me and said, "Sir, how the team's going to be this year?" I never seen this guy a day in my life, but he knew who I was and where I coached. I said, we should be okay if the guys continue to progress. And I tell these guys all the time, carry yourself how you will want to be remembered. And we follow up on them in the classrooms, stay in contact with the teachers. We either also go sit in their classrooms. They never know when we're going to pop up. So we're making sure they're taking care of that.
Got to check up on those guys.
Yes. So we stay on top of these guys to make sure that they can continue their careers onto the next level, because it's about your education. Because one day the air is going to go out to basketball, and you have to have a degree to fall back on.
And how long do you stick with a guy before you would part ways? Because Coach K dismissed Suleiman, Rashid Suleiman today. How long do you stick with a guy before you have to go your separate ways?
I think it varies per coach. Me personally, I don't want to give up on a kid, but at the same time, there comes a time when the kid knows right from wrong.
Gotcha. How about the best basketball player you've ever seen come out of Greensboro, come out of Dudley House? Who's the best you've ever seen?
Vincent Witt.
Witt, without a doubt, huh?
Vincent Witt.
Where is he at today? We hear his name so much. Any idea where he's at?
He's around town.
Yeah.
He's around here.
Got to get back with him someday. Return to Dudley, representing Smith. Describe that feeling for us, and how do you process the need to see a difference between now you were Smith and then when you were Dudley?
Well, I look at it. It's funny that I say this. When I was at Dudley, it's a rival. It's a rival I grew up in. My mom went to Dudley, my brother went to Dudley, my dad went to Smith.
Wow.
So I look at it as I want to beat these guys. Even though every game is a conference game, I was at Dudley, we got to beat Smith, bragging rights. It's the same thing now that I'm at Smith. We got to beat Dudley. And we do a good job of not talking about Dudley to the kids, because every game is the same.
Does it help having been there and then going back?
It helps, and to be honest, it feels good when you beat those guys.
Oh yeah, satisfaction's pretty big.
It feels good,
It's probably more satisfying than it is fun. And we talked about that victories. Sometimes it's satisfying, sometimes the victory's fun. Sometimes I feel it's more satisfaction. It is having a bunch of joyful laughing, and I think it's satisfying because all the work you put in.
Yes, and like we tell the guys all the time, me and Coach Partee, it's not a road game for us at Dudley. That's our home.
Exactly.
We graduated from there, so we have much as right to be in the building as the other guys.
Well, put your life into perspective, a snapshot of your life in basketball. What would you see when you see it? My snapshot of you, I remember one Saturday I was down on Pleasant Garden Road. I was going to do some running. We head across those railroad tracks, saw you and your wife pull up in the car. We talked that day. I said, I'll never forget that day. Just out of the blue, there's Coach Waddell and his wife, and I'm getting ready to hit the tracks. But what about yourself, the snapshot of your life in basketball? What do you see?
Snapshot of myself, I see continuing to grow as a mentor, number one, to the kids, growing as a coach and a person. And one day, hopefully, I have my own team, and be a head coach. And,
You've coached a lot of AAU ball. You've been getting ready.
Oh, man, I'm getting phone calls about AAU every day.
Yeah.
I got a couple of guys, locally that plays with me. Miles White, Hinda Hooker, which is my cousin. Breon Seagraves plays. Cameron Langley's from Southwest Guilford.
Oh, yeah.
David Funderburg at Page plays with me.
Got them all.
Pierce Landry at Greensboro Day.
3-point specialist.
He can shoot the lights out of the ball. Jordan Perkins, Will Dillard. Then I have some guys from out of town. But what's made the AAU program, the guys I've been coaching, been so successful across the country is the guys all know each other. They've been playing since they were 7 to 8 years old.
Gotcha.
And you can just tell they know where they're going to be at on the court. And then it's been a great experience coaching AAU, having hands-on with these big contracts like Under Armour, and hands-on dealing with Raymond Felton. He plays a significant role in these kids' lives. He does anything for the kids.
Well, listen, Coach, let me let you move it out of here. You got to get ready for Dudley tomorrow night. Keep up the good work. Always good. I think you could have played football this week, maybe for the Patriots or for the Seahawks.
Oh, yes.